YouTube.TV.square.
Content, information, and opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995. Studio A.
Hi, and welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Well, what do? I'm a realtor, and sometimes being a realtor really is a tough position because we don't know what's going on in this market. So today we're here with one of our sponsors, Max Fisch, and we're going to talk about market volatility and how that's affecting mortgage brokers, mortgage lenders, because there's a difference between a mortgage broker and a direct lender. And then we're going to talk about how it affects the realtors and how it's affecting properties on the market, what's coming on the market, what's going off the market, what does our inventory look like, and is the inventory even worth looking at? So welcome, Max.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And you know, I've definitely seen the ebbs and flows of the past couple of months, right? As I'm sure you have as well.
I don't know, I heard you've been flowing all over the place. Like, I hear some people are like really just suffering, and you're just
I mean
whipping and snapping.
Well, you know, it's really just kind of trying to navigate through the market and kind of catering to the consumer based off of, you know, whatever's going on in the marketplace at that time. And so what we try to do, and what I try to do with every client that I come across is just feel out what their needs are and kind of try to taper loan programs and products and things of that nature towards their certain situation and try to make it better, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It makes a lot of sense. So what I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that maybe you're saying you're making a little less money in each deal because you have to adapt to what's going on in the market.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of them,
right?
Because right now people are very monthly rate conscious, monthly payment sensitive. And so, you know, if somebody is on the verge of buying, and obviously it's part of the American dream, right? We want people to be homeowners. And you can make it a little less expensive for them and a little bit more, you know, alleviate some of that fallout of the market that we've seen in the past 6-7 months. You know, I think that we can paint a picture of looking at the glass half full than half empty.
Yeah,
right?
And so it's kind of funny that you say that, right? So I don't know, about 2 months ago, I had a realtor. She called me and she said to me, "How do you do it? Like, how do you sell all these houses? How do I get to where you're at?" And I said, it's kind of like a diet pill, right?
Sure.
At the bottom of the diet pill, it says results not typical, right? So it's really what you put into the diet pill, right? If you take a diet pill and you don't eat differently, you don't exercise, are you going to lose weight? So when you ask me, what do I do, right? It's working hard. It's like I handed you a card and you said, "Oh, I cold called all these people," right? So I asked her, I said, "How much do you make a year?" And she said, "Well, I make about $400,000 a year." And I said, "Well, that's a lot of money."
Yeah.
I said, "Do you really need to make $400,000? And she said, "No." I said, "Okay."
It's a good question.
Said, "Do you want to make more than 400, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference, right?"
Yeah.
So I said, when you do the right thing by people, it's going to come to you.
Sure.
You're not going to need to want it.
Sure.
It's going to naturally happen.
Yeah.
So by doing that, I feel like when I said you're whipping and snapping, like people don't know what I'm really talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why you smirk.
Yeah.
Because there's lenders out there right now. It's very competitive right now. Rates are very competitive, and it's like, what are you doing to get the customer? So when you want to do that right thing for the customer, truly, not truly want to do the right thing for the customer.
Yeah.
Not do it out of fakeness and you want those right things to happen, like the American dream, home ownership. It's like, yeah, in the end, you're still going to get paid.
Yeah.
Just not as much.
Sure.
And that's okay.
Yeah, well, I think as professionals in real estate, I think our first priority is to do right by the customer, right? I think, obviously money is what we need to survive and to support our families.
And that's what I say all the time.
Right,
I'm like,
but
I have to work, but I don't have to charge so much to one person to make it like, when I first started veering towards this kind of sales position, this job, which I have a master's degree, I'm a therapist.
Sure.
But when I started veering towards it, the first thing I got was a mortgage license.
Yeah. That's right.
I was very young.
Yeah.
All these guys failed the test. I passed. I was like, oh, okay, great. What do I do with it now? I went to go work for a guy, and I didn't understand how it worked, or how it went, and every time he would price out, and back then I was spending like $300 on an advertisement. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he would come back with a rate that was just ridiculous. And I wouldn't know the difference. And then, of course, they'd find it 1/8 of a point cheaper somewhere else. I wouldn't even know, well, what did you get? Like, I wouldn't know how to sell that way.
Yeah.
And because he was greedy, right? I got nothing.
Yeah.
So I have a mortgage license. I would not call myself a mortgage broker.
Sure.
For sure.
Well,
right?
I think we have a duty to, if a client comes to us, we need to give them a favorable option for homeownership, right? We need to make it so that they are excited about this new home purchase. I'll give you an example. So if somebody comes to me and they want to lower their monthly payment, so they want to put $100,000 down, let's call it, right? The rule of thumb for mortgage is that every $10,000 you put down changes your payment, let's just say about $50 a month, right? However, I'm not looking at it through the scope of, okay, you qualify, that's it, boom, you can put $100,000 down. I'm giving them options. So for example, if they have some credit cards, with high balances that they're paying $500 a month on, well, what if that balance is $10,000 and you're paying $500 a month? What if you took that $10,000 instead of putting $100,000 down?
Right, because that's probably 18%.
What if you took
$90,000
$90,000 and put it down? You took that $10,000 and allocated it towards debt. Correct. Now you're not saving $50 a month, you're saving $500 a month. And that makes people excited about the opportunity in front of them for homeownership. They saved up all this money. Right. Well, okay, let me just give you some options on how to allocate that. And now they're excited about this home purchase. Not only do they get a house.
And they're like, oh, my payments are really going to be less.
Correct.
He came up with some creative idea on how to restructure which nobody else told me.
Now a $3,000 monthly payment isn't as scary because you're saving $500 on your credit cards.
And here's another one that a lot of people don't think. So
sure.
I don't know if you listened to this show a few weeks back. We had a card buying.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Which is great, right? They were on, and that's through Priority One Credit Union. So a lot of times I have people that are paying, and I don't know if you've used this one yet, they're paying car interest rates of like 7%.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And then I send them over to Priority One, they get them down to like 3.5%, 4%.
Sure.
Now you're saving more money that way.
Yeah.
So it's really thinking outside the box.
Exactly, and
right?
that's what a market like this takes, right? Because I think, in the real estate industry as a whole, I think it's a problem, but especially mortgage industry, because there's not a lot of different ways of thinking, right? It's like, this is the standard, this is what everybody does. But unfortunately, I don't see this a lot, but it's not a one size fits all. And I think that's why people are struggling right now. It's not like, hey, this works in every single market. You have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to understand that right now, people are wanting to become homeowners. Yes, prices have maybe come down a little bit, so that's great for them.
Right.
But they need some hope in the fact that their monthly payment's not going to be as high as they think it is.
But I think the hope, right, is also not going out, looking at a house, and bidding $50,000, $60,000 over.
Sure, that's
hope right there.
That's
to me,
major
right?
pro of this environment that we're in.
So I've been doing this for almost 22 years. So let's go back. 2015.
Okay.
Everybody says to me, I want to sell my house. And I said, great. That's what I do, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, where are you going? Well, I think I'm going to rent for a little bit because I think the market's getting ready to crash. Listen, if you look at what the market's done over time, it made sense. It really did. It made sense, right? Okay. 16 comes. 17 comes. 18 comes. It didn't crash. You know what it did? It stayed flat.
Sure.
19 comes, it's still flat. 20 comes. And then March 18th, 2020, boom, everything closes.
Yeah.
Because I got to go out for dinner for St. Patrick's Day. That was like my last dinner out. It was like the Last Supper.
I was going to ask, how did you know that exact date? How did you remember
March
that? Well, I
17th,
guess it was
come
because
on.
because
Come on, get your green ready. Come on,
Yeah,
it's coming,
yeah.
Right?
It is.
Hope it's not your last supper again, or your last beer, I should say.
Sure.
Out, whatever. Anyway, so come April, it's like, okay, am I going to be broke? Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, is anybody going to do anything? Where do we go? So, you know, that was a pretty scary
Well,
situation.
it's the old additive of the best time to purchase a house was always a year ago.
Right.
You
So
know,
when we
so-
come back, we'll talk about what happened in 2020 after commercial break, and then we'll figure out where are we at now.
At Title Brothers LLC, our mission is to give you the best closing experience anywhere in the country. Founded in 2020 by Adam Lohman and Josh Wiseman, here at Title Brothers, we're your one-stop shop for residential real estate, title insurance, title and escrow services, real estate closing, and due diligence services. While primarily located in South Florida, we also host dozens of closings throughout the state and even electronically as requested. To contact the Title Brothers, call us at 954-995-4988 or visit our website and get a quick quote today.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fisch, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fisch is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations. Ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fisch today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
Hi, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura, and I'm your host, Laura Sanders. First, I want to say, reach out, give me a call. Would love to help you with your home buying needs. Any questions that you have, you can reach me at 954-650-0827, or you can get me on the web at lauracell, couldn't afford the S, lauracell.com. So, Max, let's first, before we get going, make sure that everybody knows, even though you had your commercial, how they can get a hold of you if they want to
Sure.
think about refinancing. I don't know about refinancing. You really had to be a
Yeah, or purchasing. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys can reach me at 954-729-6933. That is my personal cell phone. Nobody else will ever answer it. It'll only be me. You can call or text me at any time. You can also reach me by email at my first dot last name, max.fish at nwmcorpcorp.net.
You better spell that fish, because that's not a F-I-S-H.
Well, F-I-S-C-H. So
don't
max
forget the C.
dot fish, F-I-S-C-H.
Okay.
Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
forget the C. Anyway, so going back to 2020,
Sure.
pandemic hits, everybody kind of freaks out. I had clients say, should I take my house off the market? Should we drop the price? What should we do?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, just hang tight. Let's just see what happens. And things started moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, it's like more people started buying, and it wasn't really like quick. It wasn't fast. January comes, 2021, and we saw a straight. It was like straight up, like as if it was like, you know.
I don't even remember that.
aircraft
It was
going
like
straight.
that time period was just like nuts.
And it was painful. So I would be interviewing buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I was interviewing them, and I was saying, "So, are you willing to pay more than the list price by
Yeah.
like $50,000? Are you willing to waive appraisals? Are you no? Then this isn't the market for you.
Yeah.
Like this, you know, like
Well,
doesn't make sense."
Well, really, right now is the market, in my opinion. Correct me if you feel different, but right now is the market of the first-time home buyer, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that the past,
you're going to pay rent.
you,
It's
well,
gonna be
well, in my the reason why I say that is because in the past couple years, if you were 3%, 5%, you saved up enough money to be able to purchase that was tough because you had to offer over appraised value. You had to, guarantee some certain loan terms and contingency dates that maybe a first-time home buyer just wasn't comfortable doing.
I wouldn't be. Yeah. If I was, Yeah.
Now,
the roof is leaking. Great, I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. Now it's, again, the glass half full, right? They can, it's a little less competitive, right? So they can save up 3% and be able to purchase a home, maybe get some seller concessions,
right.
Things like that. And that's why I think that it's conducive for those people that might have been priced out of the market of the past couple of years. And I'm seeing it,
right.
with a lot of my clients. They're coming out and, what we're doing, as I've stated before, I think on the show as well, what we're doing is for all returning clients indefinitely. It doesn't matter whether it's 7 months or whether it's 10 years. If they come back to us once the market corrects a little bit as far as interest rates are concerned, we're going to help them refinance at no bank costs.
So basically you're saying marry the house, date the rate, and
Correct.
then break up with the rate.
Correct. So, you're going to be paying that rate premium maybe for a little while, but it's not forever. It's not 30 years. And the second it comes down, I'll be contacting you to help save you a few $100s a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and how does that work for you? Like, do you still make something? Like,
yeah. Yeah. So the way that it works, as far as
pays, right?
as far as what we do is we get paid from the various banks that we have accounts with, right? And obviously, as a company, we've made a decision to lessen that for the consumer's good, right? Kind of how we referenced earlier. But really, the point of the refinance necessarily wouldn't be to make a ton of money on those. It's really to make it.
It's relationship building.
It's relationship building, and
then he wants 3 referrals afterwards.
Sure, it's relationship building, and it's also, again, making this current market more bearable because you have something to fall back on. Hey, when rates go down, I have somebody that's going to take care of me and my family. And that's really what it's
about. You
about.
give it to them in writing because people don't trust people.
Yes, ma'am. I give it to everyone in writing so that they have it and they know. I tell them right up front when I tell them that. I know it sounds a little sketch. Right. I'll put it in writing for you so that you can hold me to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should make a little thing and give it
to
them like a little.
Yeah, I have it. I have it. I'll send you one.
Okay. So, the bottom line is like we need to get over this. This is inflation.
To sum it up, pretty much, yeah.
But you can't run away from this.
Yeah. It's not going anywhere,
really.
It's
not going anywhere. Like, people ask, they're like, well, what do you think? It's like, well, I don't know if I had my crystal ball back in 2015. If I had my crystal ball back in 2005, it's like, God, I should have bought more houses in 2009 and 10.
Well, 100%. And here's why the timing game doesn't work. Because
you miss out.
People think that I'm going to wait until rates drop. Well, what happens when rates drop? Prices go up. But then it's the same, hey, I'm going to wait until prices come down. Well, they're really going to come down because rates are going up. That's what brings prices down.
Right.
And so it's just kind of one of those things where, again, the old additive, the best time to buy was a year ago. You just need to get into real estate if you can qualify. That's what we're here for. And then, over time, it will, you're going to make money on it one way or another.
Right.
And you get to live in it and enjoy it at the same time. So it's not like a stock account. Can't enjoy that while the money's growing, but you can enjoy your house.
But 30, 50 years ago, 70 years ago, like people were meant to stay in their houses for 30 years.
Yeah, which is what a lot of people did. It's the baby boomer generation. Yeah. Everybody stayed in their house for 30 years. Yeah.
And that was their
retirement.
That was their retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was their retirement. So, I think
which is interesting how minds have changed, how the mindset has changed, isn't it?
There's a lot of things that have changed. So
yeah, but isn't it interesting? Like people now, on average, what do you got to say? People stay in their house 6 years, maybe 7 years.
But nothing's like it used to be. I think it's 5 years on average.
Yeah.
5 years on average. But let's talk about like staying in your house versus everybody wants to work from home. Nobody wants to come out to an office. It's like, I don't know. I think that can you measure like productivity?
Which, by the way, as real estate professionals, if everybody wants to work from home, even more of a reason to have somewhere where you enjoy. To buy a house where you enjoy, where you can have maybe an office or find a house that is conducive for staying at home, which I think it makes
Which
you know
can
it more
write off a
important.
portion. I'm not an accountant, but you can write off a portion of that.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
So.
And again, I'm not an accountant either. I don't know if you can do that if you rent.
No, you can't
Yeah.
if you rent.
So?
No, you can't if you rent.
So there you
because,
go.
I don't know. I think that would be some shady accounting. I'm sure we could find somebody that would do that for you.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. But see, there
Yeah,
you go.
so-
There's some incentives.
And I guess great show would be to have an accountant to talk about, because it's changed. Where I
Yeah.
used to say, oh, well, you can write this off, you can write that, but it keeps changing.
Sure.
Everything keeps changing. What you can write off, what you can't write off. Like even like we can't write off restaurants anymore. Like
Yeah.
for us, like so if we take you to lunch, it's like
Well, you definitely can write off mortgage interest.
right.
you know, that
Isn't
hasn't
it a
changed, which
certain
is great.
Percentage of like.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, see that's.
You gotta get a
it keeps
CPA up here.
changing.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
keeps changing,
Yeah.
and it's like.
The
just
bottom
like-
line is that there's tax incentives to home ownership, right?
Of course.
And you know, and again, I feel
And let's
like
talk about the new. Let's talk about. We have like 3 minutes left.
okay.
This is the thing today to make money with. Triplexes.
Oh, triplexes.
Not a duplex.
Every time I come on the show, we just have so many things to talk about.
That's
Let's talk
the
about
moneymaker
FHA.
for a first-time home buyer.
Let's talk about that real quick.
We got 2 minutes now to get everybody's minds going on FHA triplex, buying it, making money. What millennial wouldn't want to buy
Sure.
a triplex, live in one part, rent 2 more parts out, so now you're an investor, and eventually down the line, because you only put 3.5% down, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Plus your closing costs.
That's the
and
key.
Maybe you get the seller to give you back.
Yeah, that's the
some
key.
closing costs, right? And then eventually you go buy yourself another house.
That's 100% the key. I mean, with an FHA loan, unlike any other loans, conventional, if you buy a triplex,
Loan
you
limit on triplex.
need
What is it?
25% down. Loan limit for FHA, I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but
Okay.
it's in the 900s.
For a
And
triplex.
yes.
So you could buy a $900,000 triplex with 3.5% down,
Yes.
ask the seller for closing costs, have 2 rental properties and live in one, and get these people over here to pay for your mortgage. How many people want to do that?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
and so what you can do is you can do 3.5% down, just like Laura just said. You can then have the other 2 to pay for your mortgage, so you're pretty much living for free. And then you stay there for 6 to 12 months, 12 months preferably if you want to qualify for a new loan. And then you buy another house with a conventional loan, and now you have a triplex. So you just
And the one biggest misconception that everybody has, and I like to talk about these things over and over because I get these questions all the time, is no, you don't have to put 20% down for a conventional loan. You can do as little as 3 if you qualify.
correct. In that scenario, you would have to do 5% because 3% is first-time home buyers.
Okay.
Yeah, but 5% you can use all
But
day
if
long.
you wait 3 years, you could do 3% again, right?
Well, you currently own a home.
Oh, so you
If
couldn't.
you couldn't
Why?
do
It's gonna
that.
be investment now. You're switching over to an investment.
It's still you own a home, so you're not a first-time home buyer.
Okay, but then you could still use that.
You could do 5%.
Okay.
Yeah, you could
That's
just
primary.
you could do 5% conventional all day long.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
once you buy that duplex as a primary at 3.5% down,
Mm-hmm.
which is key, now you can go use that other investor loan where you don't need the income, which you wouldn't need the income for the first.
Sure.
This is definitely a trick
Yeah.
to get yourself into the market. For everybody asks me, how do I get into the market? How do I make money?
Next time I'm on the show, we
That's
should
a
talk
trick.
about investor
That's
financing.
a trick, right?
Absolutely.
We talked about the
The DSCR.
the DSCR
Yeah,
loan, right?
yeah.
But that's the trick on how to really get into it, because if you don't own your first home, you can't get to the second
Correct.
investment.
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
think everybody should be saving their pennies. And thank you very much for joining us tonight with Making Money with Laura Sanders. And I'm your host, Laura Sanders. Everybody have a great day or night.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can